Hey Internet, it's the Knights of the Drunk Watch, and we're here to review Season 1, Episode 1 of Lovecraft. I neglected to write down the title. Do we know what it was called?
Sundown.
Sundown, yes.
Yeah, it's Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country.
This is going great.
Quick intros. I'm Andrew, and we have Zach Baxter.
Hi, everybody.
We have Kate and Thomas.
Hello.
Chom.
And we have Adi.
Hey guys, if this is your first time at the Knights of the Drunk Watch channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notifications bell so that you can be notified every time we drop one of these videos. Also, if you feel so inclined, please donate to our Patreon. Anything that you can give helps us, and we are very thankful for it. You can get access to a whole bunch of videos that are not available here on YouTube. And I'm Adi.
All right, and so here we go. We are the Knights of the Drunk Watch, and now
our talk begins.
All right,
Cool.
So the first subject here is brought to us by Kate. Who knows what about Lovecraft? Do you, Kate?
Organization.
So, I know that he wrote scary books.
I also know that he wrote scary sci-fi books.
Ooh.
Anyone? One more.
I know that the series is based on a book based on the concept of his books.
Cool.
Oh, wow. 6 degrees of separation, okay? Zach?
He was a writer in the late 19th and early 20th century who wrote a lot of books that would be considered, in short stories, be considered by macabre by today's standards. I believe he was
like dark sci-fi.
Well, I believe he was a contemporary of Poe, but didn't realize it because the one thing I do know about Howard Pumpernickel Lovecraft was that he died penniless in 1937, and a lot of his fame and notoriety came later in life.
Oh, that's
posthumous.
that's interesting.
Later in the afterlife.
I would say he's probably like a combination between Orson Scott Card, who wrote Ender's Game, and like Stephen King. That's kind of where I feel like stylistically he falls.
Oh, I got nothing.
All right. Okay, so the next topic we have here. Watching the opening, I just made note that we pretty much seem to have every 1950s sci-fi trope, plus Jackie Robinson and Cthulhu. So, yeah. I mean, we had like the typical...
I guess that ties in it puts us in a time we know we are going to be dealing with Black characters and Lovecraft. We tied it all in with one drink.
Yeah, it was beautiful intro, cinematic, like it gripped you immediately, and it put you exactly where you needed to be. Beautiful exposition. Beautifully done.
Yeah, agreed.
I didn't think... Go ahead.
I was a little confused. I saw the trench warfare, and granted it was a dream. I was like, okay, so he's a World War I veteran, and then that completely fucked up my timeline in my head.
Yeah, that was an interesting image. Also, I didn't think we were going to get Cthulhu this early. Like, they just were like, Cthulhu!
I don't know much about Cthulhu, so it's other than its tentacles.
I know some lore.
To say it's Cthulhu feels premature, you know. It was something that very much resembled that, but Cthulhu is like the ultimate big bad deep in the universe, sleeping in darkness, you know. It's also classically... It's a child of Cthulhu, you know. And
but
Jackie
he's a classically Lovecraftian character, and, you know, like, that's only where your brain can go.
Yeah.
So anyway, I made note, and I can't remember if... The name of the book that Atticus was reading, was it John?
Princess of Mars.
What?
Princess
but what's the character that?
John Carter.
John Carter. That did Jordan Peele basically give us permission to like stories like that? Because she said you can like him. It doesn't matter, you know, because he was a Confederate.
Oh, yeah. There was that bit about...
Does that give us permission that we can still like Gone with the Wind? Even though Gone with the Wind is a totally, you know...
It was interesting. That was a very, like, now in the moment kind of comment to make, which was, you can still sorry, you can still love the art and not, agree with the person who wrote it. And I don't know. I mean, that's how I feel.
Andrew, I think you brought up a great point, and I think you're 100% correct. Jordan Peele, let's say the showrunners, gave us permission to, because that was a perfect example of foreshadowing, because that's exactly what happened by the end of the episode. A character completely taken out of his comfort zone and arrives in not an alien planet, not Mars certainly, but a completely different fucking world he has stepped into, and probably is going to have a hard time escaping, without a lot of trials, tribulations, and blood sacrifices.
I didn't even catch that. That's a good catch, that dynamic.
Well, that kind of brings us into the next topic that I wrote down, and wonder if these themes are similar and or can be tied together, because he made a big deal about picking up the Count of Monte Cristo when he went home.
So here's the thing. Oh, sorry.
And it's like, what's the idea? What's the themes in Count of Monte Cristo? That the guy's framed, he goes to jail, he escapes.
Vengeance.
He comes back in disguise, so people don't know who he is, and to revenge on framing. So,
well, it's interesting though, because specifically the Count of Monte Cristo is related to his dad. It's always in reference to his dad. His dad has 2 copies of it that we see just, in that one shot. So that might have more to do with his dad's plot line and the quest his dad has been on than necessarily what he's going to go through. That's my guess. Educated guess.
Anybody else?
Never read it.
You've seen the movie? No? A movie?
Me, no.
She has watched more stuff with us. I assume if she hasn't watched it with us, she probably hasn't seen it.
But like some of the themes in that is vengeance and time, right? Like waiting years, like a long game. It's a long game.
Yeah.
So I think it may be a clue that nothing's gonna really wrap up in a couple of episodes. This is a very long journey, and it's a odyssey. It's kind of an odyssey in its own way.
And Lovecraft books are very thick.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those books that you see are a collection of stories.
Yeah. That's true.
That again got put together after his death when people amassed up. So, I looked it up. I don't know if anybody else did, and probably super taboo, but when he was in his uncle's store, when Tick was reading the book, picked it up by Lovecraft, he mentions a poem that's attributed and considered to be written by H.P. Lovecraft. And, I mean, seek it out. It's super short, super terse, and it conveys an extremely powerful and, more than 110-year-old viewpoint on Black people. Not racism, on Black people, which basically the crux of it, in beautiful rhyme, well composed, puts Black people just above animals but below men.
Oh man!
And it's not even 8 lines long, but it is extremely powerful. And let's just say the source material that they're drawing from, I'm really surprised somebody hasn't done this, in what I hope to be a very well executed HBO series, because there's a lot to unpack in all his writings. And I love that they juxtaposed it with the backdrop of, a young black men and women in 50s
Jim Crow. Yeah.
Like, they did such a great job sticking those 2 things together. And I feel like this show is shining a spotlight on things that's done, but not in a preachy way. They made it's a little over the top for the first episode, but it should be to draw you in. But I congratulate them because they did a great friggin' job. And I'm sure Jordan Peele and the rest of the crew,
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so this is Adi's topic. Who is Atticus? Who are his mother's people? And is his father alive?
Yeah, I want to talk about Tick a little bit, because he went off and he was actually in the military. He went off to World War II? Korea, sorry. That was lapse in memory. Okay, anyways, so he came back. Clearly he didn't get along with his dad. Didn't catch a lot about his relationship with his mom. Did anybody catch?
We don't have much.
She's gone.
She passed.
Right, but we don't know how they got along or what their relationship was like.
We don't know how. We don't.
No, I'm just ready to answer the last question Andrew asked.
I believe Tick's father. The only thing we know is he's obviously disappeared. Been a couple of weeks, but he wrote his son a letter, which prompted him to come back from. I didn't catch the state, California, Kansas,
Florida,
Kentucky.
Florida.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, Kentucky. He was in Florida, but he drove through Kentucky.
Right, because it was too segregated, and then he went up. Okay.
But there's bad blood between Tick and his father because his father didn't agree with Atticus joining the military, throwing his life away for a country that doesn't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
I believe were the words mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah. But the question is more about like his mother. I mean, yes, I want to talk about if the dad's alive. But what do you guys think about
Michael
his
K.
mother's
Williams.
people and the? Right. Yes.
Clearly, his dad is alive, and I'm so excited.
Well, there may be flashbacks, so
they're underwater fighting monsters with him.
Okay, I didn't catch that in the preview.
I have to put this out there. Michael K. Williams has been an HBO staple since The Wire. He was in The Wire.
Yeah.
He was in Boardwalk Empire, and he's back on that HBO teat, suckling at it, getting it. And I couldn't be happier. Fucking Chalky White and what was his name? You don't know. Omar. Omar's coming back, baby.
So what do you guys think about her people and this whole like his birthright?
I have no idea.
I have absolutely no idea, but clearly it's part of this. And is his mom white? Like, I don't know. Like, because she's part of this. That's where I feel like it's running through her, his connection to this weird thing in the mansion with the very, very blonde lady. Like,
there was a lot of very Aryan-looking people in there.
Yeah.
Zach.
So I'm putting it together right now. I think the dad has a lot to do with the Count of Monte Cristo, and the mom has to do a lot with the Martian Princess. I think those two books are both his parents. So I think maybe, I mean, I'm speculating, maybe mom is some kind of Martian alien princess, because a lot of Lovecraft stuff, from my research, is like cosmic. It's like the darker evil of like the whole universe.
Yeah, we definitely have to go higher.
I would be curious because those two books were very prominent in the first episode. So it just seems to line up that she's in this huge mansion with these servants that are all white, but they may just be alien, if that makes sense. Well, I mean, we're going to find out, but it's interesting.
Okay. Thomas, take us out on this subject.
So my thoughts, and these may be spoilers, but it just has to do with what I know of his writings and some of the stories. My thought is that this manor that they show up with, I believe we'll find out next episode. It's called Braithwaite Manor. I feel like the Braithwaite is a super old family in America. And even before that, I feel there are some dark cult ties to, you could say, they're tied to the Salem witchcraft trials. But if anything, like their roots go deeper than that. And I feel that Tick, and specifically Tick's mother, is a part of it in that I swear I heard this. I don't know if I heard this in the show or in the teaser for the next episode, but I feel like those rich white people at that badass mansion, they are part of some kind of, call it a Cthulhu cult, because you wouldn't call it a Lovecraft cult, some Cthulhu cult that brought about a deal with the devil, if you will, that is epitomized and embodied in Tick's mother somehow, who ran away from this thing, and Tick is a part of it. It's just what I think.
Wait, Thomas, did you just spoil the entire show for us?
Probably. I mean, I have a pretty keen insight to these kinds of things.
That just seems like to put our hero on the wrong side of everything.
No, it does. However, I swear to God, somebody back me up. I heard either some point in the episode, somebody talked about people making a deal with the devil, and the devil appeared as a black person to this person.
Yeah, no, I remember that. I remember.
And so in my mind, Tick's mother very well could be a descendant of, or somehow connected to the form that was taken.
She could be a witch, His mom could be a witch. His mom is a witch.
Yeah, because who are the witch hunters? Because the other town...
I'm still voting for aliens.
The people who live in the Sundown County, Devon County, they're the witch hunters.
Okay.
And then
Descendants of.
The descendants of, and they talk about the demon the witch. The woman was in trouble because she slept with a black man she claimed was actually the devil in that the shape he took.
She scapegoated the devil.
Yeah.
Okay, so next topic. We got to keep moving. Detours are never a good idea. They said, we'll just take a detour to Lydia's Cafe.
Simmonsville.
That was such a master class in how to create tension in a scene.
Oh, so good.
Like, beautifully crafted. Everything about all of that whole thing was just very impressive. Good. I could feel the palpable danger from the moment that I saw the police car come over the little hump. Like, I was like, oh, I know exactly where we're going right now. But even before that,
they did such a good job of in the thing of him being like, why is the White House white? And that story, like, lovely, beautifully unfolding. He's, a fire, and she's, get the fuck out, running by.
That was so funny. I laughed.
Well, I mean, from the moment that they walked into formerly Lydia's Cafe, and it wasn't Lydia's Cafe anymore, I just was like, it's not.
It was like that scene from Get Out where they all just get silent and follow the black people.
Yes.
Alrighty.
What I didn't understand when they pull up to the cafe, there was clearly what looked like a burnt out hovel right next door, which was red brick, and then they went into the white brick building next door. To me, it's
They're
like...
not going to go into the hovel.
No, I know, but to me...
No, but they should have...
Well, I would have shown up and been like, looks like something bad happened. We need to keep on trucking.
Well, but I also think that part of George's thing is pressing a little bit further than he should to see, like, really how safe it is or not. Like, they even said that where if you get it wrong, that's somebody's life. So he's willing to push a little further than than is safe for him. Right. In order to get the truth of what each situation is.
Simmonsville is not going to get any stars in the Green Book.
No. It's not being in the guidebook.
Negative stars.
And Courtney Vance is killing.
So the Magic Mercedes-Benz. Can we talk about that?
So,
we saw it twice.
Oh, we saw it 3 times.
We saw it.
Did we see it at the place, or am I thinking of?
There are 4 apocalypses, but we only saw the car.
Oh my God! Shut up!
No. we saw it cut off the racist from Simmonsville,
right.
And then we saw it at the manor.
At the end, we hear about it because a white man picks up
Montrose.
Tick's dad, Montrose, in a silver car, and we see it in town. Tick walks by it.
Okay.
It's in the dark, but you don't, like, I forgot both of those first ones because I didn't know that a silver car mattered yet, even though we know that his dad left in a silver car. But if you watch it again, because we just did, you hear about it from the bar. That's what Montrose left in, was that silver car.
Yes.
He walks by it in town. It's dark and like in a garage kind of, but it's clearly just like he walks by and the shot stays on this car. So it is 3 times, but 4.
Well, 4 times, including the mention.
Yeah, that's why I said we see it 3 times, but they're 4 times.
It's the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Okay. So Adi, I had you starting off this next subject. Can't get a break in Devon County. Sundown towns.
I mean, I already talked a little bit about how awesome that scene was and how they created tension. But what I really wanted to say is the concept of this guide is both the most horrifying and interesting thing that I've ever heard. And
the Green Book?
Course, no.
You've heard of the Green Book?
He is right.
That's the Green Book.
No, I did not.
You don't know about Green Book?
I do not know about the Green Book.
Honestly, I don't think I knew. I don't think I'd heard about it.
But the Oscar-nominated movie from what?
I never watched it.
Didn't watch it.
I mean, but okay.
I didn't know what it was about. I never
watched it either. The movie's actually not about that, which is weird, but that's where the title of the movie comes from.
I had no idea, and I apologize greatly for my lack in education.
I'm with you.
But it taught me something. It taught me something new and a concept that I really want to know more about. And I love the bravery that's being displayed, and I hate that it's a thing that has to happen and you feel so conflicted about it. And I don't know, that really impressed me. So that's what I really wanted to say.
Well, and it's once again HBO, I guess, making up for our educational system, because the concept of sundown towns.
Nope, I didn't know about that either.
Well, the Green Book I hadn't heard of until the movie, which was what, 3 years ago. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not that far ahead of you, Adi. So,
I mean, I believe there were some counties in Texas that were sundown counties up until like 40, 50 years ago. Like more recent, like 80s.
I mean, honestly, there's probably still places. I mean,
Jasper.
Deep Mississippi. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, no, but they're not places where it's the law. It may be the way people act, but it can't be the law anymore. So.
Mm-hmm.
No, you know what bothers me is these racists. Like they're on a homicidal level of racism. Like they're. I mean, I kind of understand it. Not at all. Not excusing it, but like. Little shitty town, one diner. You got nothing better to do than just fuck with black people. Like the energy being put into this, it's just like Jesus Christ. I just don't, honestly, because I don't share.
Sounds exhausting. That level of racism sounds.
I can't.
I need a nap.
I'm like, I am too lazy to hate anybody with any kind of homicidal rage. Like, just no.
Right.
God, like, get a fucking hobby, Jesus.
That is their hobby.
But it's not just that. You have to think socioeconomically as well. Like, these are not wealthy people. And generally people who are not wealthy, the only people that they can step on are people who are societally and financially at that time, on a lower level. So that's all
I don't know.
Like, it's jarring.
I don't know that I would necessarily call these people not wealthy people. They're people living in a small town in the 1950s where you didn't have to have a lot of money to be comfortable. Yeah. I think these people they're not rich people. They're not rich people, but they're not poor white trash. They're just they're just small town people. And
that's fair.
I would still consider them white trash.
What?
Awful.
I would still consider them white trash.
No, I mean they are, just not in the classic term.
But not in this.
Not in the financial term.
Okay, Kate. Last comment before we move on.
Yeah. I want to go back real quick. I want to touch on something that I know it's not a nugget, but there was the phone call that George made to his daughter and then wife. I really felt, and I didn't say anything, and then Thomas brought it up also outside. He's gonna die, and that was his last phone call.
Absolutely,
that was his last phone call saying, "Next trip we go together," because he knows there's going to be another trip.
The next time we see each other, we'll talk about your mother. That's exactly what that was.
Oh, and they did so subtly, but so well.
But I maybe in an alternative to that, am I correct in saying that his daughter is drawing the pictures in the book?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
When he found where Arden was supposed to be and the witch hunter town that I don't think he had been to, she had drawn death on it.
With a clock. Death was
think
over a clock.
she has a power.
Oh, I agree 100%. That daughter is important.
But that doesn't mean Daddy's not going to die.
No, of course.
Or the next trip is going to be some kind of grand adventure because she's going to have something that people want. We have two
I'm
topics.
with you,
We got to
Kate.
keep moving. Thomas, you can take lead on this. Did Atticus will Shoggoth into existence?
By speaking their name?
Because he was like, oh, that's Shoggoth. And then a whole bunch of them show up that night. Specifically, those things show up that night.
I'm not going to claim to understand that. I guess I missed that. I love those creatures. That was really well done. And I love the whole Dracula parallel. I love how many literary, Easter eggs there are in this movie, in this series. And, me and Kate, as we're watching it, that one cop who we couldn't determine if that was the Sheriff Hunt that pulled him over earlier or not, but his voice had changed. And we're like, is he sick? What's going on? And then he starts transforming into one of them. I love him. I don't think Atticus willed them into existence.
But I do believe he may have called them to him.
Yeah, I think. They were. I mean, because they weren't. I thought for a second maybe they only liked white meat, but they did seem danger to everybody. Just the cops
They were
got the worst.
they were the monster ex machina in this.
But
Well,
I do find it coincidental that as they're standing in the woods, he goes, "Oh, did you hear that? That's Shoggoth," and he describes the creature. I even went back and made sure that what he described matched the creature that attacked him.
Well, but
that's an odd coincidence that he would just like pull that monster out of the hat.
Except we get Marvin, who is Letty's uncle or brother. I'm not sure.
Brother.
He says, "You're going there. I don't know what's worse, the white people or the animals." Like, so it's the wildlife. It's known that that area is wild.
Yeah, and people had reported being killed. I guess it was Letty's older brother. Yeah, they didn't know if it was grizzlies or wolves. So I don't think Atticus brought them into existence. But hell, y'all brought up the concept of powers and stuff like that. Yeah, that sounds really good to me. I could get behind that at this point.
Yeah, I think he called them to them. And not just that, but that area where they got attacked, it's near Artem. So whatever's going on at Artem, there could be things either spilling out or just released or
but they also
a portal of some kind.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he willed them into existence because these things are on a leash, albeit a whistle. But I think they were there before.
Okay, Zach, finish this up and then we'll take the last topic.
So just writing wise, I like how the monsters are more defendable than the actual racism. Like Tick knew exactly what to do, even though not knowing the monsters. But like this racism is so widespread and looming, it's always on their back. So I thought that was an interesting way to, they could beat these monsters, but racism is just so big. It's bigger, and also almost goes back to that cosmic darkness of how expansive it is. That's an interesting way to play it.
Yeah, you can defeat the monsters, but the humans are the worst. Like
All right, so last topic. Zach, I'll let you take the lead on this. Can JJ Abrams and Jordan Peele collaborate without Abrams being a white savior?
So I'm just gonna drink and be quiet.
So first, let me say Misha Green's name, who is the writer and director and the showrunner for this show. She's a Black woman.
Oh, she wrote the book based on Lovecraft.
No.
Describing
Matt Ruff wrote the book. He's talking about the writer-director of the
show. Okay, got it.
Show. So she was the director, the screenwriter, and she's the showrunner for this show. So I first want to say,
wow,
she did an amazing job, and I'm on board. So with that said, I think it's even more of an issue that they're throwing out these men, more so JJ Abrams, to like be the heavy hitter or be the lifter and like prop up people like Jordan Peele and Misha Green, because like I didn't see Misha Green's name anywhere in all the promos and press releases. I mean, I'm sure it was there, but it wasn't as prominent as JJ Abrams and Star Wars and all this.
But
but that's an old Hollywood trick.
Well, but the poster itself had her name first, Jordan Peele, then JJ at the end.
But
like all the promotional images.
If they're not going to have all the names, then they're going to have they're going to cut hers first. Which,
and the other one they cut JJ.
Advertising wise, that makes sense because who's got the heat? What has she done?
I mean, but that's not. But I understand marketing.
I'm saying I'm defending just that's advertising. That's bullshit advertising. Saying we got these names.
Well, but I think what Zach is saying, and you see this all the time, and maybe now that it's premiered, maybe as more people are talking about it, the three of them should be interviewed together. If she's running the whole season, with
Agreed.
Jordan and JJ producing, when people sit down with any of them, they should sit down with all three, not just the two men, the Oscar winner and the Emmy winner, but the person who is also maybe all three should be at the table.
I mean, this is her show. I mean, they just put up the money, so she's the one driving the show.
So while I agree with all of that, I want to go back to the idea of like Abrams being sold, like getting top billing, making him a white savior, or whether that just makes him a multi-billion-dollar producer.
Well, I mean, and I would just say I said
like
that
if we're
because,
going with this is shitty, advertisers who do shitty things.
and
are they propping him up because he's white, or are they propping him up because he's got I don't know how many big movies under his belt?
I did that. I crafted it that way because Zach's first reaction was like, "Who the fuck is JJ Abrams? Why isn't Jordan Peele the star of this story?" But your point, I think, is accurate, Adi, that regardless, JJ Abrams has 10 years over the rest of them.
Which doesn't make things fair. Like,
highly,
talented.
highly successful television. It's not like he was a hack who happened to paint some pretty pictures, and now he's still, regardless of anything, he is still the senior partner.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how little Judi Dench is in your movie. Her name's gonna be at the top of that fucking list. Like it doesn't. It just that's how it works.
Was that Judi Dench, the Stogoff?
Yes,
that'd be great.
Whoa.
Wait, but I want to hear.
Betty White in there too?
I still want to hear your thoughts, Zach. Though, like, what do you think about that? Like, do you think we're wrong? And I really want to hear.
But it's the but they're just better at it argument.
Mm-hmm.
Why are there more white people? Because they're just better at it. I mean, it's just that we get it. But a lot of other movies do, from the producers that brought you Stranger Things and Cooking with Julia Child, comes Misha Green's news. So there's ways that other shows do it, and not there. I mean, I get it. You're trying to sell a show. You're trying to validate it, but it needs in the world that we're in now, where we're trying to support artists of color. And really see them for who they are. I mean, Misha Green, she's the driving force. And I think, yes, JJ Abrams, of course he's an executive producer, and I like JJ Abrams, nothing against him. And I like Jordan Peele, but I just think there's ways to do it and acknowledge it. When I was doing research, it was mostly about JJ Abrams and maybe like just the plot, and then like Misha Green did it, and hey, look, Jordan Peele. I mean, and it's just weird. It rubs me the wrong. I mean, I get it. It's marketing, and when you're trying to sell to HBO's market, which is a premium channel, I am just going to assume that more Caucasians subscribe to HBO. It's just.
I mean, you don't have to validate your feelings. Like, I totally understand. You have a right to absolutely feel that way, and I agree with you. I think that they have been unfairly propped up in the past above people of color, which has led to this moment.
Don't use a white person to validate a black person's work. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, just say, from the person that brought you Lost comes a new sci-fi whatever.
Damon Lindelof?
But I mean, I think that's also, that's the perfect thing to bring up, Zach, that remember that, even if we have to make sure that we're not using the white artists to prop up the other artists, JJ Abrams is Alias and Lost and Cloverfield, and you're pairing his brand of twisty stuff with Jordan Peele, who's Get Out and the others,
Twilight Zone,
it does,
and then combining them.
Yeah, it gives you an idea. Like, the reason we started this whole conversation is because in our chat, Adi said, fuck, I didn't know JJ Abrams. I didn't know this was JJ Abrams. I should have expected this ending if I had known he was part of it. Right. So she was talking about a specific twist at the end, or a specific thing that happened that spoke to her as JJ Abrams. And then that triggered the whole thing. But I think Andrew makes a good point. That just shows us, like, the feel we're getting. Like, we know we're going to get some JJ Abrams and some Jordan Peele. Like, that gives us the mixture. And I guess, like, I don't know what Misha Green has done. I'm not familiar with her work. So I think that she should be lauded and applauded and everything. But that's not what's going to bring people to the show.
Because we don't know what her
Because we don't know her work.
Well, but one thing is, hopefully the show will put her on the map. And
right.
The next
I
thing
think
she
it
does,
already has.
Do more, and it can be fuck everybody else. Misha Green did all this shit, and that's why we're coming to see it.
Right. Okay. So I think we're gonna have to wrap it up there. Fuck everybody else. Misha Green should do everything. And
no, I mean, she is impressive.
I really enjoyed this episode. I really did.
Really impressive.
I was screaming and yelling and clapping at the TV. I loved it. I loved it thoroughly.
Agreed.
All right. So with that, I'm gonna sign us off. We are the Knights of the Drunk Watch, And
And
now our
now
talk
Talk
has
ended.
ended.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Subscribe.